I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy.
Yeah, we just got to get a set of headphones for you that you can adjust your volume. That's the only thing that mic kind of sucks at. So Rikki got his new mic, and it does sound really good. So no more earbud fuzziness, as it were.
But now you get to hear my voice sounds like shit and surround sound.
Yeah, now if we can just get Mike to get some headphones, which, you know what, let's just all pitch in and get Mike some headphones.
Then the circle will be complete.
Yes, and no more echo. Actually, I do think the Bluetooth was part of it, because now I'm not hearing any echo.
Any echo in a while, it's usually Mike's speakers.
I know, but the entire time so far, I could hear you echoing since we started.
Nice.
So something changed there. So yay. All right. So my week was done, and just in time for Rikki to get something in from Amazon. We're gonna let him talk because he went on an adventure this weekend.
I did?
You did. You went up north.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I totally forgot about that.
Bullshit.
So we'll try to knock the little stuff out first. What did I do? Halo still shit. It ended as shit. You heard that earlier. My mind has not changed since I said that 10 minutes ago. What else? Didn't do any movies or anything. I've been watching that Lakers winning time thing on HBO Max. I'm down to the last episode on that. I'm gonna get finished with that, and then I got to play catch up on Ozark because SHOKY's trying to beat me on that show now.
I'll let you know what episode we end on so you can get caught up and we can talk about it.
Yeah, I have to check and see where I'm at again. I know I'm somewhere around you because when you and I were talking, I know kind of where you're at. Like I at least know what's going on. So, let's see. Other than that, I went on a trip this week. The wife and I left Wednesday evening. Like we got out. It started it was a whole adventure. We started way later than we wanted to because we decided we always use rental cars when we go on road trips, just to save the wear and tear on our cars.
Mm-hmm.
So we went down to Orlando to pick it up, and we get there and they said, okay, so where are y'all going? And I told them where we were going. They're like, oh, you can't drive this car out of state. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? We rented this thing like a month and a half ago. Why are you just telling us now?
Really?
Well, it's just our rules. You can't take them out of town. You have to go use another brand. You know, they're like Hertz or Budget or one of those people.
Wow.
And we're like, okay, so fucking awesome. So we had to cancel that, go drive all the way over to another area of Orlando, over actually in the actual airport, rent a car, go through all that schmeal to get it fucking lined up and make sure that it goes out of state and get all the stuff locked down, get our car. So, and then drive back here to the house to drop off our car that we had drove down there to get the rental car with. So instead of getting on the road at like 4 o'clock, we didn't get on the road till almost 9 o'clock. It was shit.
Damn.
So that put us behind the gun. So that was a fun start out. And I'm like, okay, just whatever. Because my wife wanted to make this like a whole thing, because usually when we're going on road trips, it's to visit family, like her family's out in Texas and stuff, or in Louisiana. So those are our road trips, is we're going to visit family, blood relatives. And this time it's just an actual road trip. And so she wanted to make a whole big thing out of it. So instead of just driving straight through or flying up there, she got us like a hotel in North Carolina. So we just had to make it to North Carolina, get in the hotel, stay the night, put a check mark on the 50 states fuck list, and then get up and finish the trip out the rest of the way the next day. So because we ended up starting out almost 5 hours later than what we were planning on leaving, we didn't get up there to North Carolina till 3:30 in the morning, because it's like 7.5 hours from here.
Fuck that.
But I drive I drive fast normally, and because I was already all pissed off with the whole car thing, I was driving just a wee bit faster and trying to race the GPS.
Yeah.
So,
but side question though, what did y'all rent?
It ended up being a Volkswagen Passat, like one of the new ones.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a Passat. I don't know. It's a sedan. It was a 4-door sedan, so I don't know if that's a Passat or not. But yeah, it was that. It drove really nice, drives nice. It has those obnoxious, like, I mean, obnoxious because you're not used to it, but good because it does help some. Those like assistant things, like if you're drifting or something and there's a car next to you, it'll stop your car from moving over and push you
Oh, the
back.
driver assist things, the
Uh-huh. And
electric
if you get
steering.
and if you get too close to somebody, it forcefully slows you down and stuff.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that.
Not gonna lie.
So I mean, you have to get used to it. I'm not a
Yeah.
fan of it. I turned off the side to side one and just left the front to back one on because I would put on cruise control and just go.
Yeah.
And if a car would come over to the lane in front of me, it would forcefully slow me down so that I'd start, really paying attention to what was happening to that car so I could get around them and stuff. But the side to side one, didn't like it at all.
No, because I did that. I had a vehicle work that would do that. It was like a brand new like E250 or something like that, Ford van. And the first time it did that, I was like, "What the fuck is it doing?" Like I thought something was wrong with it, like because it was fighting me. All it was trying to do was go around a bend.
Felt like the steering was going out.
Yeah, it because all it was doing was just going around a very slight curve, and because I like started to cross the white line, on the inside, it's like what it started fighting me to fight back into the lane. I was like, "What the hell is going on?" And then I talked to somebody who'd been driving it for a while before me. And he's like, "Oh yeah, that's the lane assist thing. Just turn that shit off." And you have to do it every time. It wouldn't stay off.
Oh god, that
this one wasn't like that. Once you turned it off, it was off.
Oh, thank God.
Trying to figure it out because the menus all work different. They all look different. So it was like, it took me about half an hour just sitting there at the steering wheel to figure that shit out.
How long did it take the Bluetooth? Was it Bluetooth?
It took my wife all of about 30 seconds.
Good.
They had like a dedicated Bluetooth button.
So you didn't have
the only
aux?
problem is everybody they did have the aux. She plugged hers into that, but didn't like how the interface was, so went back to Bluetooth because you have multiple Bluetooths attached.
Exactly.
But it what was I saying? The Bluetooth it had its own dedicated button on the screen, but the problem is everybody who ever rented it, all of their shit was
all
saved
listed
in there.
Yep. They never
saves. It doesn't save as in the order that they're added. It saves it alphabetically to what your phone name is.
Oh, that's
so every time you go to a chat, you'd have to dig through them. So I told her, I was like, job number 1 is to clean all this shit up. So while she was sitting over there in the passenger side, she was deleting everybody else's shit out, but ours still, it was just mine and hers still attached.
I did the same thing on that van that I.
But I mean, it took her a while, dude. There had to been damn near 100 fucking things saved in that thing.
Yep. You know what's very annoying about that system? When someone else is driving that same vehicle and you've been in it, and they pull up next to you, and your phone automatically links.
Tries to clip over.
It automatically clips over to the other one. I was like, damn it.
Yeah.
I was sitting there listening. No joke. Like, I think it was last in 2020 Christmas time. Same vehicle.
Well, God, I hope you weren't like almost falling asleep at the wheel on your way up there. My God, getting there like practically 3:30 in the morning. Holy crap!
You think that's the end of this story? It's not. We sidetracked a little because the best part's about to happen.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were gonna say you got pulled over.
Nope. Oh no, I never got pulled over. And like one of my friends, Eric, EE Prime, was like, "Damn it! I was hoping you had at least 3 or 4 tickets by now," because he was like, "Holy crap, you're making good time. I don't fuck around on the roads." But I was like, nah, no tickets. But the best part is when we got there at 3:15 in the morning, go to check in, they're like, "Oh, you weren't here by 2, which is our cutoff, so we canceled your reservation."
Oh my God.
And I said, so 2:00 in the morning, you canceled our reservation. Was somebody standing here at 1:59? Like you gave them our room or something? She's like, no. I'm like, well, then the room's still empty, so we can have our room, right? She's like, oh, I can give you the room, but since 2:00 canceled it, it would be making a new reservation for, this is now Thursday at 3 in the morning. So she said you'd be making a new reservation for Thursday. And since check-in time isn't until 11, you'd have to pay for the reservation and pay like a $50 early check-in fee to clock in at 3:30 in the morning.
Wow.
We went back out to the car. We called, because my wife did it through Priceline. We called Priceline. Priceline called them. They pretty much just told us we're fucked. And I'm like, at no point in time did they tell us we had to be there by 2:00 or they were canceling our reservation. They're like, yeah, but it's like in their small writing. Yeah, it's in that fine print shit. And,
that nobody reads.
And so we didn't get a room. and they wouldn't refund us our money, so we were just out the money for that. So I was really fucking pissed off then. So we just drove straight through. I drove until about 6:30, and then I started feeling my eyeballs trying to do the drift and cross thing.
Yeah.
And I pulled over in Virginia and had her take over for a little while. And I just took a car nap, and I slept for like 2 hours and woke up, took back over, and finished the trip in.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we ended up having to drive straight through instead of sleeping over.
That sucks.
We got into Frederick Thursday. We went over to Bobby's house and had dinner with him and his family. Friday we got up. What did we do Friday? Oh, my wife, of course, loves crab, and Florida does not have great crab. We have okay crab. It's not awesome, but being we were up in the Maryland
literal crab country.
Yeah, Maryland, Virginia, the DMV they call it. We were up in that general area, so it's home of crabs, pretty much, so to speak. So we asked them, like, where's a good place to go? And they told us about this restaurant called the Duchess's Daughter. And let me tell you, this place was nice, and this food was good. But we started talking with the waiter and stuff, and, you know, we were talking about how we were from out of town and yada, yada. Because first thing I asked him was, like, do you guys have sweet tea? Because I know I'm up north, and that's not a thing up there. He goes, don't even worry about it, bro. I got you. And he come back, he had made like an Arnie Palmer. You know, you can still taste they had unsweet tea. He added cane sugar to it and then shot some lemonade into it. And I was like, actually, that's not that bad considering I know it was a quick made sweet tea. You know, it's not the proper way to make sweet tea for people who don't know is you add the sugar while the tea is still hot and then cool it down.
That way
afterwards.
it melts in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So
actually, I prefer to do simple syrup.
Simple syrup works too.
Yep.
But he, of course, didn't have time to do that. But he did the best he could with what he had. And let me tell you, it wasn't that bad. And I told him, I was like, you might as well make a picture of this because I'm going to drink the shit out of this stuff. And he said, don't worry about it. I got you. And he kept us covered. And then we started talking with him and stuff. And found out how our friend told us to come over here. And we were from down south and stuff. And he was like, okay, I'll be back in a minute. And he came back with a tray. He had just kind of grabbed different things for us to sample, like off their menu.
Oh, wow.
Like he brought back like a twice baked potato. He brought back crab something or another. Because first things first, we started out. I got a crab dip appetizer, and my wife got some crab stuffed mushroom caps, and we were just sharing. And then she ordered a crab cake, which is what they're famous for, and it was fucking massive. Like it was a on
cake.
A hamburger bun, but like kind of going everywhere.
Oh yeah, that's a good shit right there.
I got shrimp toast just to try the shrimp too, because I mean we'd already had crab everything, because I could have got the crab toast, but I decided to go with the shrimp. Well, he brought back when we started talking, he brought back this twice baked potato. He brought back there was something else with crab in it. I don't remember. My wife would kill me. She'll correct me later. And then I am not a soup person. I am a 6'4", well-insulated human being, and I live in fucking Florida. I do not ingest hot liquids as much as humanly possible. Like I even drink iced coffee. I don't like hot liquids.
Dude, I'm the same way.
If I'm drinking a hot liquid, I'm either one sick, and if I'm sick, it's always Earl Grey tea, or it's the 2 days a year where we actually drop below 30, and I'm having hot coffee. And that's it. I just don't do hot stuff, so I don't like soup unless I'm sick. Well, he brought out this cream of crab soup. And let me tell you what, I would have fucked everybody up in that restaurant for another fucking bowl of that stuff. That stuff was fucking-licious.
Was it a biscuit?
And I couldn't. It was more on a cream chowder side.
Okay.
Nice.
But like huge clumps of crab in there and stuff. And man, it was delicious. And it's weird too, because another thing that happened, we were going up there, of course, and we helped set records because in that general area, their average temperature this time of year is like 69 to like 72 degrees. We go and the weather decides it's going to be 95 with a feels like of 102 while we're there.
Yeah, you brought the heat with you.
Yeah, so we got yelled at for that. You know, we got blamed for that a little bit. Chris said it's all our fault. So, and that's Chris Pinkerton from Nerd Rage.
But By the way, should you
So we had that though.
should we
Even though
just
it's
talk
hot.
about before you go too much further? Should you just mention the fact that it was for Bobby's
No, I'm not. We're
Skullfest?
not there yet because that
Okay.
doesn't even start till Saturday afternoon.
Okay, yes, but you're
So
talking about all the nerd rage people.
yeah, but not even. It doesn't matter. Still
Yes.
not there yet.
Fine.
So we get done with lunch. The point I was making was even in that heat, I enjoyed the soup. Like, and my wife and I were talking, like, man, could you imagine coming in here on a night when it's like snowing outside and just getting a big old bowl of this shit? Man, forget about it. So anyways, we got done with lunch there. We went around, did some shopping. My wife wanted to see some of the outlets and stuff. So we went shopping and whatnot. And then Friday afternoon, we ended up going over to Chris Pinkerton's house. Met up with some of the Realm guys over there. Want to shout out everybody that I saw. Them. Hopefully not forget any names, but it was like Dust, Brian Brink, Gort, Jose, Dave, Dom. Who am I missing? Gort, Jose, Dave, Dom, Eric.
I was
E.
gonna say,
Prime
you
was
better
there.
mention Eric.
And then of course Chris and his wife Kelly were there. They had us in their house, and they made his wife. Oh my God, she made this delicious pulled pork. Man, she cooked down an actual pork butt, and then like made. I want to say she made like her own homemade barbecue to put onto it. Like I watched her. She was adding spices and liquids and stuff. So I think she like dressed it herself. It wasn't like bottled barbecue.
Yeah,
and
I've done that.
it was fucking delicious. Had like little pork sliders. She had like coleslaw and stuff with it. It was delicious.
Hey, pork is
Got
actually
paint.
kind of cheap right now, so I was actually going to buy a pork
Yeah.
butt the other day.
Yeah,
Dude,
I mean, it was phenomenal. Like in the
Sorry.
realm of collectors, they have a realm of collectors cooking group, and so everybody will put like stuff that they're cooking and their recipes and stuff in there. And you forget that just because you talk to these people on here that they have normal stuff too. It's not just all nerd stuff. It's a whole lifestyle thing. So you forget that people can cook. Well, Chris and Kelly are also from down south, so they, in my book, can throw down in a fucking kitchen. And because they cook like what I'm used to, and it was delicious. Their house was beautiful. Their family was awesome. Getting to see everything. Chris gave me a walk of Crashbox Customs. I got to see how his whole thing is set up there and everything. That was really cool to see. And then we just kind of hung out and BS'd and talked and drank the night away and just joked and laughed. And it was awesome just getting to see those guys because I hadn't seen them since TFCon in Baltimore. And it was just really cool just to, it's not ETR where they're on screen we're there. So I'll get to that. We're there on screen and we're on the chat squad, and they're very good about interacting with the chat squad, but it's still not the same as being there in person, just chilling with them and talking. And then Mike was also there. I'm sorry, Mike, that I forgot to list you earlier, but Mike is actually one of the first people I met in the realm who kind of introduced me to everybody else. So that was cool.
You.
We did that different Mike.
I know.
But he's not too far off from you because he's out in Washington State, so he's not too far from off.
Yeah.
But got to see them and hang out that night. And then we got done there and we went back to we were going to go back to the hotel, and I messaged Bobby to see what was still going on over there. And he said some people were still there, but they were kind of winding down. But our hotel was literally like 15 minutes from Bobby's. So I was like, well, we'll just swing by for a minute and say hey to everybody. And man, there was a crap ton of people there already too. Like Eric Burgess was there. Trying to think, this guy Justin was there. Man, I'm going to mess up and not name people, and I apologize ahead of time. There was like 65, 70 people, I think, in total over the weekend. So it's going to be a lot of people to try to remember.
I've seen the pictures.
But we saw them for a few minutes, just said hi to everybody. My wife got to, re-say hi to meet some new people and say hi to the family again. And before I get too far, Miss Laura, Bobby's wife, is a killer in the kitchen. I still have to get a hold of her. She had a couple recipes that I'm like, I'm going to need those from you. Like it's crazy. And when I tell you that there was 60, 70 people there, she made food to feed all these people and would not let people help her.
That's quite the undertaking.
Yeah.
It was amazing. They were cool with people bringing stuff in. We could bring like chips and drinks and crap like that if we wanted to, but she had food there for everybody, and it was top shelf stuff. Like, it was delicious. She had like a crab fondue thing. And okay, so that's Saturday. So Saturday we get up, we just kind of get moving a little, and then we head over for the actual, I guess, main event of the weekend was Skullfest over at Bobby Skullface's house. We went over there, and that's where kind of just everybody was there at that point. Some people trickled in slowly over time. Planes got delayed and stuff, but most people were there by then. And it started on noon Saturday, and it ran until noon on Sunday. He said at 11:59 a.m., I'll be standing at my door saying goodbye to everybody because y'all got to go. Not because I don't love you, but my wife is doing a crack ton of work, and we're going to need a break to be able to take a deep breath and start cleaning up all this stuff. So that's the cutoff point. So it started out. It was awesome. Mike wasn't even the furthest person away from Bobby that was there. They had people from California there.
Cody
Caleb came out from California. Cody came from England.
UK. Yeah.
Yep. And then Andy and Kieran both came from Ireland. Andy is the guy who has helped Bobby with like the force sensitive stuff, like him and
that's
Gort.
other
like,
Andy.
Yeah. That's Irish Andy.
Yeah.
I got to meet him. Super cool dudes. But let me tell you what, these dudes are super proud of their inner thighs because they wear some short ass fucking shorts, man. We were all writing about these shorts, man. It was crazy. But good on them. And I told Andy, I was talking to him, I was like, it's probably just because we're jealous that we can't flash inner thigh like that, but good on you. They were super cool dudes. Super cool dudes. Chris had come up again from West Virginia. Chris Mall, he's really awesome. Derek B and his wife came. It was great to see them. We did some swapping. Like every time the realm, like the group gets together, they'll do like they call it something like the realm swap or something like that, or swaps giving. I don't remember. They had some kind of little kind of like play on words about that. So I brought some stuff that I gave Gort. And then Gort brought me, I have a legend scaled Chrome Dome. I think it's McFan's Toys. And then EE Prime brought me Motu Classics, Skeletor, and Panther, because I'm trying to get just those two plus He-Man and his Battle Cat, just for my display. I have a display I'm working on in my head, and I just want those two main setups for part of it. So I picked those up. We hung around and talked. You know, there was food everywhere, drinks everywhere. Around 2-ish or so, Bobby hopped on the grill, and man, he was making a shit ton of hamburgers, a shit ton of like Italian sausages, chickens that they'd been marinating, like just ridiculous amounts of food that was just all top shelf. I mean, he was definitely in his zone. Like he was very comfortable on the grill, and he got to hang out and talk and BS. It was nice because this was more like just like a block party, you know.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so much work related. But
I gotta hand it, and this is from a quote unquote Canadian perspective. You guys down in the States love to eat.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I am amazed at the amount of food you guys down there can eat.
And the messed up part is I've had stomach surgery, so I can't even eat that much. But what I have to do is it's like grazing. Yeah. Like I have to eat a little bit and then wait like an hour or so and then eat a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which is perfect for
and I'm not trying to mean this to sound like some sort of insult or anything like that. Honestly, I'm not, right?
We're fat, Mike. It's fine.
No, but seriously, it's like it just seems like people in the US, right? And I'm not trying to generalize or anything like that. Honestly, I'm not. It just seems like from our perspective, right? Like from a kind of a Canadian perspective. And I'm not speaking for all Canadians, of course. It just seems like, like you guys can really pack the food.
It's a thing. It's a comfort thing. It's a coming together thing. It's a family thing. It's
almost like a very culture thing kind of thing.
Yes, and it's very much a love thing. Like I've tried to explain. I was talking to a guy about how I am with my friends and stuff. Is I keep my world small, and then I have friends that I talk to, and then the next layer is the friends that I talk to that I've met in person, and then the next layer is the friends that I've talked to that I've met in person that I broke bread with. And then the next layer is the friends that I've sat down with, broke bread with, and met their families, and it's a slowly escalating thing. But that once you break bread with somebody and their family, that's family. You know what I mean? Now you're at a different level. And so block parties and stuff, and I can't speak for everybody, but the life that I lived growing up, a block party was a huge thing. It was very cultural. It was very much a sign of the times. It was a sign of the area where we lived at.
Yeah.
It was a thing. And it was just showing love. I'm letting you in my house. That means I trust you in my house. I'm letting you talk to my kids. That means I trust you around my kids. That's an important thing. And food is
it's
just
a great
like
way
the
to
center of it,
strengthen the whole
tie everything
community,
together.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because eventually you get to really know everybody, and and it just builds a stronger community that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then so of course got to go there. Yep. Bobby's kids, they're absolutely adorable. They're the sweetest. His youngest would put her drink down, like buy me or something, and I told her every time she left it, she owed me $5 since I was babysitting it. No, I'm not gonna give you money, and she'd run off and stuff like that. And it kind of went like that through the weekend. And like the last day, she's so cute. Or was it Saturday? She sat down and she drew and colored $100 bills and then cut them into individual pieces and came and gave me a stack of $100 bills.
Nice.
That's
and told me that was my money. So I was calling them my Rikki bucks. I got them hanging on my refrigerator. I'm gonna take a picture and send it to Bobby because I told her that I'd hang them on my refrigerator so that she could see them there. She was adorable. She was drawn. Yeah, she was drawn little pictures of like dinosaurs and stuff for everybody. Just great family, great kids, great times. Bobby had the podcast room where N.Y.M.I.A is actually ran at. He had it up and running, and he was asking for volunteers of who wants to run it. And we all kind of said, we'll take a turn. But I'm gonna tell you, I went in there to go take my turn, and Eric B had ran like a couple back to back. He volunteered to take a block because it's kind of small and hot in there, so nobody really wants to hang out in that room. Like you'll go in, you'll do your pod, you'll leave because it gets warm in there. It was phenomenal to watch him. Like I sat back, like I got on one pod talking with him for a little bit, and then I was sitting back just watching the next pod, like just vibing on the atmosphere and the conversations. And when it came up for my turn, he's like, so I'm gonna get off now and let my boy Rikki get on. I was like, nope, you're fine right where you at. I'm enjoying watching you. He was very much in his element and enjoying what he was doing and was getting good conversations and stories going with people. I was like, nope, I'm gonna sit right here and just watch and learn. And that was really cool too, to hang out with him and see that, like him just really shine in that moment, like be at peace with what he was doing, like be good with it. And it was an awesome thing to watch and listen to. And so I got to do that and listen to a lot of cool stories and meet cool people that way. We met a new guy, kind of newish, Greg, came in. If Greg ever hears this, I'm sure he'd want y'all to know he looks like a rapper and he sounds like a rapper, but he's not a rapper. And that won't make sense to any of y'all except for him, because he'll start laughing as soon as he hears me say that. But like it was cool to be there. They had like Bobby would, like, not in a negative term, he'd hold court and like ask a question to start a conversation. They like kind of recorded it, so I'm assuming he's gonna make a video out of it and stuff. So I'll leave that alone. But it was cool to get to interact with everybody. I got to meet Beansy. I think it might actually end up on YouTube. I want to say some of his other ones end up on YouTube. It's just more edited when it goes on straight YouTube.
Sometimes, yeah.
But I got to meet Beansy. For those in the realm know, Matt Hurd. Awesome guy. He's so much nicer than the persona he puts off while talking on podcasts. He puts off a very rough, gruff exterior.
Yep. Sweet
dude. And his wife, she's a saint, dude. She is the lovingest, sweetest lady. Because he had started a conversation, like, not in a bad way, but he was like trashing Transformers. And I said, your husband has the biggest balls, because he stood in a room surrounded by Transformers, full of Transformers fans, talking about how stupid Transformers were. And she just looked at me and she goes, He's just a man of conviction, and when he believes it, he believes it, and he'll speak his mind, and that's why I love him. And I told him later, I was like, that woman right there, you better never let her get away from you, because that was something to behold, her being in 1,000% backing him up on everything. So that was all. His wife's a beautiful, adorable lady.
Nice.
And then I finally got to meet Chan and well, not finally, because I met them in TFCon just briefly, but I was just still kind of new and didn't know them that well. But I got to hang out and interact with Chan and JD, which was really nice. They're very cool people. She's another beautiful human being, and she brought snacks and stuff like that were amazing. She had this blueberry lemon cake thing that was delicious. I missed out on her world famous cookies. Everybody wolfed them down. They're like these huge, massive cookies that I saw people eating, but never got a hold of one. Let's see. I got to meet, if any of y'all listen to Nerd Rage, I got to meet Evan, the King of Wakanda. Him and his wife, I got to meet them. I finally got to check my bucket list. I got to meet Joe, and met Joe and his wife, and Saturday evening, he actually took everybody over who wanted to go over to his house, and we got to do a live tour of his collection and stuff. It was really nice meeting him, and let me tell you, like, he just walked up and he just hugged me, like, I wasn't expecting it because it's Joe. But he's like, "Oh man, nice to finally meet you." And I went in for a dap, and he gave me a hug, and I was like, "Ah man, it's great to meet you too, finally face to face." So that was cool. Got to check that off. It was just all going well, and it was a lot of fun. There was laughter and talks and some in-depth conversations. Like, not everything was toys and nerd related. I mean, it was just a lot of good times out there. And then we got a big, huge surprise when Jeremy B quietly slid in, because nobody thought he was going to be able to make it because work wasn't letting him out of it. And he didn't let anybody really know that he was coming. He just showed up, and everybody flipped out, and that was nice to see. Love that dude, even though he told me he made it work so he'd come see me, and then I heard him say it to 50 other motherfuckers, including my wife, so whom he had never talked to. So then I told him his love was not as real as my love for him is. And I told him I was going to give him shit about that for a long time. But no, it was really awesome to see him. He is, because he loved how many times people pointed it out. Because when you see him on ETR, they're all sitting at desks, so you don't realize this. He is a tall drink of fucking water. And when I am 6'4", telling you he's a tall drink of fucking water, he's a tall drink of fucking water. He's a tall dude. And nobody expected it. We were like, holy shit, so that was fun. And then that lasted Saturday, man. It lasted probably closer to midnight. And then everybody kind of, started drifting off. People went back to their hotels and stuff. For the big kind of grand wrap up, what they do is Sunday morning, they feed everybody breakfast. Mm-hmm. Like, Miss Laura made quiches and casseroles, and Bobby was over there cooking his Bobby bacon. Like, he was making bacon for everybody, just nonstop pounds and pounds of bacon he was cooking the whole time. His eldest daughter, I'm not putting names out because I don't know how they feel about that, but his eldest daughter, was making French
their
toast.
Names publicly.
That's his daughters, so he can do what he wants to. I didn't ask him, so she cooked French toast, and let me tell you what, man, that was some good ass French toast. I even told her afterwards. I was like, "That's really good," and like, her face broke into a big old smile, because I guess she'd heard what I do for a living, so she thought that was important. I was like, that doesn't mean anything. What somebody does for a living doesn't make them better than or anything else than anybody else. I was like, you did a great job with this because you put love and care into it. And like, she cooked enough French toast to feed a freaking army, and it was really good. And then so we hung out for a little bit and got to see some people. Others had kind of already left and started heading back because they had other things to take care of. So people were starting drifting in and out, kind of coming and going. I got to meet Paul C. in person. He was one of the ones who was actually, he got stuck. He was upset. Like, his flight kept getting delayed. So he ended up being there 6 hours later than he thought he was going to be there. But let me tell you, when I tell you, this is the nicest dude. Like, he is like, how like you get those people who, when they wake up, they're like all sunshine and fucking rainbows first thing in the morning. He's like,
I hate that.
Yeah,
No, I'm
he's like
kidding.
that, but but the good version of it. Not the he wakes up that way. It's just he lives life that way. So he just walks into a room, immediately lights it up, and everybody just kind of gets a vibe off of him. Great, great dude. Great to meet him. I mentioned him that we had talked about him, Shoki, and that we might want to get him on to talk to him some more. I put out a couple feelers to talking to people about bringing them over to talk. So
Just
we
inviting
can get
people on
together
the
on
show, Rikki. Look at you.
You're welcome.
Just taking over.
I mean, I can not do
Networking.
Oh
it.
my god, just droning on and on.
Yeah. So,
I'm kidding.
No, I want Matt H to come on so we can argue about who
Yep.
actually sets gas prices.
yeah. So,
Because that's our
we
weekly
can make
argument.
that work. Yeah, we can make that work.
I can.
So
bring
we got
Matt
done.
on.
We got that done, and we left probably around 11:30 because we had to get back on the road. My wife, who is a saint, and she is not a social butterfly. She's just, it's not her thing. She doesn't know you. She's like a quiet wallflower type person.
Yeah.
And so I told her, I was like, make sure you bring your Xanax, because she has anxiety or disorder, and she has very bad social anxiety. I was like, bring your Xanax. If you need to, go in the bathroom and take one, relax yourself. I would message her randomly because I told her, I was like, when I'm there, I'm gonna be bouncing around, talking to people and stuff.
Yep.
And I was like, if you don't feel comfortable, then we'll find you some people. The first thing I did was when we get there, I'd get her to talk to a little group so she at least get to know them or
Assign
something.
her a buddy.
Yeah.
Yep, pretty much like that.
Yep.
I was like,
Ease
you
her
just
into it.
you stay there, and I'll come back to you and check on you every once in a while. Or I would messenger. I would literally just messenger. I'm like, wherever I'm at, I would just pick up my phone and be like, do you need an anchor? And she'd be like, nope, I'm fine. Man, I go out there, I find her, she's floating around, talking to people, sitting down, making Facebook friends, like going nuts out there. And I'm like, what in the hell? Find out later, I haven't even heard it yet, but she's on a podcast. They did like an all wives podcast and snuck all the wives into the pod room and recorded a podcast.
I saw the picture.
So, yep, she was the one with the black and white polka dot shirt. You see like the back of her head in the picture.
You got a contender now.
So she was in there.
I don't know what.
Yeah, I don't know what she said or did, but I already told her, I was like, if I don't like it, I will sleep on the couch because our couch is comfortable. She laughed and called me an idiot and then told me she loved me. And I was like, I love you too. So, but she was doing, and that's another, I got to meet Dunkel. He was there with his wife. Nice. I got to meet them. Ace Milo that does figure banging. I met him and his wife. Man, Dante was there, of course. Phil was there. There was, gosh, so many people. It's hard to remember them all. I'm being an asshole if I forget them, but as I remember them, I'll just say their names.
Just from the pictures of the different places where everything was going down, I'm like, I couldn't have kept up with more than the 5 people I know directly. It's just like, I know these faces, but I'm only going to remember these 5 people were here.
It's like as I'm talking to you, I'm remembering the pictures you were talking about, and it would make somebody else's name pop in my head. So I'm trying to remember them.
You should have just had that. Oh, if you weren't using your phone currently, I would say have it pulled up so you could literally scroll through the pictures. But busy.
But
see, hold on. I was gonna say your wife and my wife would probably get along because she is the same way, where she won't do anything in a social situation. She'll just sit quietly in a corner until like somebody might talk to her, or if I like drag her.
That's what I'm saying.
Something.
Kara didn't do that. She surprised me. I caught her doing other stuff, and she's like in random pictures talking to people, and I'm like, and I asked her like, what the hell is this? Oh, I'm friends with them on Facebook now. We talked about better, but I'm like, what the fuck? But I'm proud of her. Like I was more worried not about her doing or saying anything wrong. I was worried about feeling like a bad husband for leaving her unhinged, floating by herself. And so I would check in and she'd say she's fine. And we'd kind of cross paths every once in a while. And I would check in with her and she was good. And then we'd move on about our stuff. But because she explained to me later, because I asked her, I was like, I was surprised, we were driving back. I was talking, we got to talk on the whole road trip. And she's like, well, it worked out because it wasn't what I expected. Like her ex-husband was like a Magic the Gathering basement dweller, super uber nerd, like stinky pits living in the basement type nerd. And so when she was with him hanging out with his friends, it was like that, like the dingy back rooms at the card shops, stinky bodies everywhere.
Yeah,
So when I told her nerd get together, her mind was envisioning that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
right.
she said when I got there and it wasn't that, it made me more relaxed and I was able to talk to people. I was like, you got to understand. I mean, we're all, you know, in or around our 40s. We just also happen to be nerds. It's not as it's not it doesn't have such a stigmatism as it used to. And she's like, I know. And once I realized that, everything was just, and everybody was so nice and sweet to me and yada yada yada. So it was cool. She had a great time. But because she was willing to do that, and even before she realized she was going to have a fun time and do it, she was still willing to go just so that I could go and have fun. I told her, I was like, you know, anything you want to do, you just let me know. Well, one of the things we found out, the town that we were staying in is called Frederick.
Yep.
Is home to Francis Scott Key's memorial. It's like it's not that he's from, I don't think he's from there, but he was like a lawyer there and he died there. And Fort McHenry, where he wrote the Star Spangled Banner poem, is around there. Like, I think it's in actual Baltimore Harbor proper.
Yeah.
But like, it's all from that general area. So there's a whole cemetery.
There's so much shit in that area. Because like,
her and I were talking about the whole time. Like,
yeah.
Everybody forgets when they talk about American history and stuff. Everybody always envisions America. You got to remember all of base American history. When you talk about the American Revolution and all that, that shit happened like in 8 states, tiny little states.
It was
where
like,
all that shit
it was like
happened.
in a 30 square mile radius, basically.
Yeah,
It's
you
like
couldn't walk down the street without tripping over something. There was
Yeah.
houses there that looked like they'd been there since the 1700s. They just added like window air conditioners and stuff to them.
Like that.
So I mean, it's beautiful places there.
That Western Maryland shit, like that whole area, and then you get a little bit, you know, towards Virginia. All of that area, like, because I follow, coincidentally, I follow a lot of people who live or function in that area. There's like, I mean, you like pop over to like Harper's Ferry. There's like all kinds of shit to do.
Yep.
And,
we drove past that on the highway, and then Gettysburg was an offshoot over there.
Yep. It's crazy. There's
like,
a lot of shit to do.
It's crazy how much is in that one little area. So we got to walk through she said that's what she wanted to do. She wanted to go to the cemetery and see it. And it was huge. We walked through that. And let me tell you, I did not like that because I was sweating my dick off the whole time. It was hot as hell. But we were looking at like, there was tombs and stuff that have been there since like 1802, 1801. We saw a couple from the early, not early, the latter part of the 1700s. You know, they had mausoleums, and we found on this one row, it was a whole row of Confederate unnamed military members that had died during a battle there.
And just buried
them. Instead of just leaving their bodies out to rot and stuff like that, the Union Army had actually buried them. And they have grave markers, but they're all blanks. And they just have the total number was like 400 and something unnamed Confederate troops that they buried in a straight line, like right back there. Like, and then they put up like a little memorial stone thing for them with like their regiment name on it and stuff like that. And I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, it was some cool stuff back there. We got to see some pretty cool things. So we did that before we got back on the road. And then the last thing I did there before we left is I took a little bit of Maryland with me. And let me tell you, I've already told my wife she's going to find them on like Amazon or something. We're going to find them somewhere and have them shipped to the house. But there's this brand called Herbs, I guess. Think like puffy Cheetos, not the crunchy ones, but the puffy ones.
Yep.
But Old Bay flavored. And let me tell you what, man, I fucked them up. I'm not even a die-by Old Bay guy. I mean, I like Old Bay with the best of them, but it's not like I like it on everything Old Bay. But these things, dude, I was fucking that bag up.
Dude, I can fuck up some Utz's crab chips, which is basically Old Bay chips. Mm-hmm. And your mouth burns.
And that's what I was looking for, but
but
Miss Laura and Bobby said you had to go like into. Here's another thing: they still have food lines up north.
Yes, they do.
You know, we don't have those down here anymore. But she's like, you'd have to go into food line to actually find.
I did want
like,
to ask you.
Old Bays.
Yeah, I did want to ask you because it was almost like going into another country, like because especially Maryland proper does still have a lot of restrictions. Like they've eased up most of it, but over in Virginia, like they've dropped basically everything. You know, now it's just kind of like where we.
What do you mean, like the face mask and shit?
Well, even beyond that, like a lot of the other things where they're controlling, like you're talking like food lines and stuff like that. Like it's kind of changed, and then like I said, they've eased up on that kind of stuff, but like they were also like very big about bringing it back over and over and over, just depending.
I
So
didn't see anything like
well,
that.
no,
We
but I
went
was
to
just
the
going to ask
mall
you
and
if you
stuff.
did. That's what I was going to say. Is like, did you see
Yeah,
anything?
no, I only saw a few people that even bothered wearing their mask. We did see one idiot that was in the car by herself driving around with windows
All
up
the
and her
fucking
mask on.
time, dude. I still
Oh
see that shit.
God, that's so
Even
No,
here.
I'm used to it down
all the
here.
time.
I'm used to it down here, but seeing it up there kind of felt out of place. It was very weird.
Well, that's what's even weirder. It's like you see the same shit up there
Uh,
where they did have
no,
significant lockdowns compared to where we live.
Oh God.
no.
And it's
You
so
see it here
weird.
too on occasion.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're alone in your own
Own
vehicle.
Yeah,
It's
that's the
like,
part that always trips me out. Like, and
and,
you got your windows up, probably have
and,
your AC going, and
and
you have your
unless they're
mask pulled up.
Yeah.
yeah, unless
Yeah.
they're DoorDash or something, that would be the only time I could excuse it.
Fucking doofs. I'm pretty sure this lady wasn't a door dasher. She looked like she was in her 70s.
I've had some I've had some old DoorDashers.
Well, more power to them because I'm
They had
in
us
my
come
40s and I
downstairs.
don't want to go run around bringing shit to people.
Just so you know, people, the rays from the sun can actually kill germs,
How dare you?
especially in hotter weather.
How dare you?
Don't come
Keep
here
that
with your
in
fucking
mind.
science. Don't come here with your fucking science. Next, you're gonna tell me the Earth is round.
UV
Shut the fuck up.
rays.
No,
Yeah,
then the Earth is round and the moon's not made of cheese. Whatever, crazy guy.
That's
The
right.
moon has never been made of
It's
cheese.
the actual science.
No, not pseudo.
The moon is
But yeah, it was a
non-dairy.
blast.
About that too.
We
So-
we got done there at the thing. We got on the highway. We drove back to North Carolina. We actually got our room this time. Like we got a different hotel, and we were not too far from Fort Bragg in Fayetteville. We actually got our room there. It was nice.
Wait,
Spend the night there.
So how far or how long was the overall drive?
From North Carolina to where we were going was about 5.5, 6 hours, and from here to North Carolina was like 7.5.
So about 13.
Yeah, give or take.
Okay.
I knocked a bunch of time off of it because that's how I
God,
drive.
that's
Yeah,
like me
that's
driving from here to all the way in northern Alberta, like to Fort Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's roughly how long it would take me to get to your place.
Yeah,
right.
12-hour trip.
Going across the U.S. instead of north. No, I did the math though to figure out how long it would take to get up there if I drove, and I think it said 20 hours.
Huh.
Something like that.
Just to get up
You
there.
know,
to
it would take
Frederick.
me about a little over a day to get to SHOKY.
Well, I know
Driving
it took me
straight.
Driving
it
straight
took me
down.
12 hours from Dallas to my house.
Yeah.
So and then it took like 13 hours to get there.
Yep.
So it wasn't too bad. But then on the way back, we got done in Fayetteville. We got up, we left, and then my wife being from Texas, her family's all from out there. We saw a Bucky's in South Carolina. You don't really see those very often, so we stopped there.
No, they've been branching
Got a
out.
picture of a huge beaver. I got she got a chicken club sandwich
Mm-hmm.
and got me the brisket sandwich, which was fucking delicious.
I told you to get the barbecue. I told you. Oh, you know what's
hey,
actually really good? If they do have it there, just wondering because I had it here at our Bucky's, and I don't know how much it changes from state to state. I had their Reuben, but without the sauerkraut, and added some extra cheese and jalapenos, and it was just fucking phenomenal.
and then we got Bucky's nuts, which were good too.
Yes, I always get the banana chips,
so to speak.
That does sound good though.
but not beaver nuggets.
But yeah, the beaver nuggets. That's what I'm glad we got.
Okay, yeah,
like
yeah.
They look like the little popcorn, but they're like caramel and all that.
Yep, they should have a cereal.
Yeah, that's what we got.
They should have Bucky's
And then-
cereal.
It reminds me of the popcorn part of Cracker Jacks.
I was gonna say that. Yes, yep, definitely.
The flavor wise, anyways.
Yeah, it's
So
caramelized.
we got done
whatever.
there, and I got a pecan and praline thing that they had at up by the counter too, which was pretty good.
Bucky's is awesome. Mike, if you ever make it down south enough,
It's just a gas station, Mike. It's literally a gas station, but it has a shit ton of stuff in it.
it's the Walmart of gas stations.
Oh yeah.
He's not wrong. They sell clothes and shit.
No,
in
actually, I did hear about it.
They're ridiculous. They are ridiculous.
It's like
We-
huge.
We had the biggest one in the country until somebody
Right.
else opened one with 116 pumps. So I mean, when you say it's just a gas
God.
station. So here in
That's
Houston,
massive.
yeah, and so that's just the gas station itself area, And then, of course, the actual thing is literally the size of probably an original Walmart. You remember how the ones from the 80s
Yeah.
were? You know, the
Yep.
brown version of Walmart? It's roughly that
Yeah.
size. And all kinds of food. Cleanest bathrooms. They do have fucking phenomenal bathrooms.
Wow.
Dude, and they're fancy as shit too.
Fancy.
Like, they're
Yeah. Because they're a
fancy
truck stop,
bathrooms.
too. So they have showers as well.
Mhm.
So, like,
Huh.
if you're on a real trip and you're just not stopping, but you want to refresh, you know, you can actually take a shower. You know, you
Yeah.
can get all kinds of food, like all kinds of crazy shit in there. Not to mention just the clothing / souvenir / hunting section,
Right.
which is literally looks like a fucking Walmart, but half of it is actually
Yep.
Bucky's brand stuff. You can buy full on barbecue pits, deer feeders. Okay,
Yeah, they had some nice fire pits outside.
dude,
there,
those fire
nice.
pits are
So it's
legit.
like a Bass Pro Shop
It's a mini.
/
It's a
Walmart / gas station.
literally yes,
Pretty much.
and it's
Yeah.
Pretty much just nailed it.
awesome. And they have a great
Wow.
hot sauce collection too.
So then we drove from there and we got home, and then that's where we're at now.
Sweet.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats.